Michelle Terciano.
And I'm Michael Schneider, and welcome to another edition of Variety's Awards Heat, where we analyze and dissect the hottest Emmy races. This time out, we're looking at lead comedy actor, which last year was won by Barry's Bill Hader, who, of course, is not eligible this year since there wasn't another season of Barry. This category, once again, is still filled with a lot of great names.
Yeah, Barry might not be eligible, but somebody who is Eugene Levy.
Say hello to your handsome proprietor, Mr. Jonathan Rose.
Thank you for having us.
John, no.
He was nominated last year, and I think he is a definite frontrunner again this year because not only is his performance always great, but it's the final season of the show. And Academy voters kind of caught on to Schitt's Creek a little bit later than some of the actual fans of the show. But once they did, they seem to really love it.
He's an icon, so I think it's about time we give Eugene Levy another Emmy. So that would be fantastic. And I have a feeling that it's going to be a good night for Schitt's Creek. So we shall see. Now, let's talk about another icon. Honestly, this is my MVP for all of television. Ted Danson.
Truly the saddest day of my life.
He's never had a clunker. Even Becker, to be honest, not my cup of tea, but that show was a hit. It went into syndication.
Yeah, it did very
well. Now, the
well.
flip side, The Good Place, of course, was not a clunker at all. One of the greatest shows on TV over the past couple of years. And, of course, another show that's ending its run. Ted Danson was fantastic throughout this run, as is Michael on the show. And, just as deservedly should get an Emmy or at least a nomination on his way out.
Yeah, I agree with you. And just kind of continuing that icon streak. We look at somebody like Michael Douglas, who is up again for the Kaminsky Method.
You only have two women in your life, and you managed to chase them both away.
Why do I bother talking to you?
Who else you got? Here.
I will say that the one thing that I think is a little bit harder for him, as much as the Academy has loved him and celebrated him for things like Behind the Candelabra in the past, the show premiered in the fall of last year. So it does feel like the Kaminsky Method is not on everyone's radar as much as some other shows. Even, from Netflix's point of view, it feels like they may be pushing their one new comedy, which we'll get to in a second. But he's Michael Douglas, and I don't know.
Right.
I don't see him not following last year with another nomination. He did such great work as he did last year.
Yeah, I think a nomination, you're right, is almost a given. But at the same time, it does feel like there was so much heat surrounding that show in season one and just not as much in season two. Maybe the newness of it wore off a little bit. But of course, that new Netflix show you're talking about is Space Force, starring and co-created by Steve Carell.
When I was a child, our country put a man on the moon. We're going back.
What can we say about the reviews for that show? That it hasn't been received the best necessarily.
But critics aren't voting. And the Academy members love Steve from his time on The Office.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The chance to give him another nomination after, years of The Office, I feel like, and they may do it. And I also, honestly, I feel like his visibility in this category and in the lead drama actor category up for the morning show for Apple TV Plus, I think that helps a little bit. Like, you're going to see him a lot this Emmy season.
And of course, the visibility that people do nothing but watch The Office these days. So Carell is still everywhere. I think he's got a lot of goodwill. He's a star. He's a TV star. And I think voters, really will gravitate toward him. And then we've got a couple other, mainstays still in the running as well. Including Curb Your Enthusiasm's Larry David.
Hey! Flowers, balloons, Larry David. What could be better?
I think that Larry, to me, feels a little bit like a wild card because he disappears and he comes back. And when he comes back, everybody celebrates him. I don't know that this season was as buzzy as the last season because it didn't have as long of a gap, I feel like, in between. And so I don't know that people were realizing how much they missed him. But when he did come back, again, great comments. People really enjoyed seeing his take on the way things were going in the world. And I feel like because he's been a mainstay in this category in the past, he has a good shot as well.
It almost feels like there's a little bit of a rubber stamp when it comes to Larry David, which is not the worst thing in the world. Larry David is an icon. So one more name that we should mention, just because this is a show that I truly enjoy. I just don't think it's gotten enough attention, especially in season 2, is Black Monday.
Miss me?
And that's partly because of the scheduling of it. It sort of got caught up in COVID-19 and issues of production, and it's been pushed back. But don't sleep on season 2 of Black Monday, and especially Don Cheadle, who is having the time of his life. All right, Daniel, now's the portion where we talk about which nominee we would really like to see this year and are rooting for.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about Ted Danson. He would be my pick right now for who I want to see nominated. And I have to be honest, I mean, this would be his 18th Emmy nomination. And there's something about that just feels so special to me. And I mean, okay, 20 will be a more special number in a couple of years. But to me, I just feel like I want to see that happen.
He is one of my picks, but my other pick is a name that we haven't mentioned yet, Ramy Youssef, the star of Hulu's Ramy.
So what brings you here? I want to change, and I heard you can help me. Speak the straightforward word, brother.
Of course, the surprise win at the Golden Globes this past year for season 1. This time he's eligible for season 2 for the Emmys. Season 2 is a little darker than season 1. The show goes in different places, but Ramy, he's so infectious, such an original voice. Representation is fantastic. The fact that this is a show that showcases an American Muslim family and a young American Muslim man in this age is very important. But also just he's just so fun to watch.
It's 2020. They don't want a man like me anymore. They want a man like you. A man who feels a little bit like a woman, but is still officially a man.
And that's it for another edition of Variety's Awards Heat. Join us again for another category next time. I'm Michael Schneider.
I'm Danielle Terciano. Thanks for watching.